Good morning. My name is Greg Salisbury. I'm the editor-in-chief of City and State Pennsylvania. Welcome to the Energy Summit. This morning, we're here to focus on the future of energy in Pennsylvania. And we'd like to start out by thanking our sponsors and partners who made this event possible. Lucknow High Spire Terminals, Cordia Energy, the Eastern Atlantic States Regional Council, Natural Allies for a Clean Energy Future, Steamfitters LU 420, Sustainable Energy Fund, and PICO. You can find more information about the sponsors, the speakers, the panelists, the topics. If you scan the QR code on your table, that'll open up our digital program. You can also learn more about Slido, which is our real-time question and answer app. You can just type in questions on your phone. It'll appear on the screen, and then they'll be asked of the panel at the question and answer session of the panel. Now, I'm pleased to introduce our keynote speaker, Acting Secretary Jessica Shirley of the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection.
Good morning. Happy Earth Day. I'd like to say that's why I'm wearing green, but if you know me, I wear green most days because I'm a redhead and it's one of the only colors I can wear. You can see some folks behind the sign, so I'll try to angle myself a little bit so I don't put everyone to sleep. I'm Jessica Shirley. I'm the Acting Secretary of the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection. I see a lot of familiar faces, but for those of you that I've never met before, it's nice to meet you, and I'm glad you're here. So I'm here to talk to you all about the future of energy in our Commonwealth. I think it's probably something that many of us have in common, especially looking at who's in the room. And you'll probably agree that when it comes to energy in Pennsylvania, it's kind of the thing that we're known for, or one of the many things that we're known for, like, you know, Hershey's chocolate and Peeps. The governor was there this week. You know, Utz, all food things, and energy. Our state has a very long legacy as a national leader in energy. For generations, it's provided jobs, kept costs low, and driven progress. And it was here in Pennsylvania that Ben Franklin took out his kite into a storm and sparked research into the uses of electricity. And today, the Shapiro administration wants to harness lightning too, because energy consumption is on the rise, both in Pennsylvania and around the world, and it doesn't show any signs of slowing down. At the same time, we know that climate events are becoming more and more frequent, which test the limits of our grid. Reshoring manufacturing, the use of electronic devices. I have 2 phones, 2 iPads, 2 laptops, a teenager with multiple devices, a toddler with devices. We have a lot of charging in our house. The economy and the prediction of future year impacts of AI and building data centers has resulted in demand increases that we haven't seen in any significant way in the last 20 years, not since before the best era of music, the 90s, and the .com era. It's projected that from 2024 through 2039, within the PJM footprint, the number of electric vehicles will increase from about 500,000 cars today to just under 25 million. And I was thinking about this, 2039, like it seems so far away, right? We're in 2025, 2039. My toddler, she's 3, she's actually at the egg hunt at the governor's residence right now. Her graduation year, her high school graduation year is 2040. So this is when she's probably learning to drive. We will have that many more electric vehicles on the road. Now, I was an economics major, but it doesn't take a degree to know that when demand goes up and supply stays relatively the same, you're going to see price impacts, and they're going to be up. Peak demand in PJM, so this is PJM overall, not just Pennsylvania, but the whole area, is projected to increase by nearly 30 gigawatts by summer 2030. Also not that far away. That's only 5 years away. And for some context of that number, Pennsylvania is the third largest electricity generator in the nation. And our entire generating fleet has a peak summer capacity of 48 gigawatts. Peak summer capacity, 48 gigawatts. We need 30 gigawatts more than the 48 that we have. So we need to build 60% of Pennsylvania's full generating capacity fleet in the next 5 years across the whole region. And here's the challenge that we are up against. It currently takes at least a year to build a solar or storage facility. It takes 3 to 5 years to build a new gas generator, and more than 5 years to build a new nuclear or geothermal plant. It's very clear that our power demands are increasing rapidly, and we must increase rapidly if our goal is to reduce emissions in our manufacturing, transportation, and building sectors through electrification. However, we're still seeing outdated and inefficient rules at PJM, which have delayed critical energy projects and contributed to driving up prices for consumers. And we've all felt the pain in our pockets, both individuals and industries alike, when we open our electric bills. I will say last month, I looked at mine and I said, we're all gonna be hot or we're all gonna be cold, because we're turning that thing down. And now here's where I need to pause, because I am incredibly sensitive to the task that PJM has in front of them. In recent years, they have faced significant challenges in processing interconnection requests promptly. New service requests for them tripled. Due to the nature of requests, their backlog expanded. And I'm sensitive to this, right? Because my agency has seen very similar situation. 80% of energy projects in PJM's queue are stuck, and that bottleneck in supply is costing Pennsylvania's families and businesses. But through reform measures and a focused, concerted effort, my agency has cut our own permitting backlog by 90% in the last year and 4 months. We started with over 2,400 permits that were stuck in the queue, and we're down to a couple hundred right now. So it can be done, but decisions have to be made and processes need to change. And we are hopeful and optimistic that PJM is also up to that task. Governor Shapiro recently took action to prevent PJM from sticking consumers with unnecessary price hikes. He filed a lawsuit back in December that will save money for consumers. He personally worked with PJM's leadership in 9 other states to secure a new bipartisan agreement that will streamline their approvals for energy generation projects, modernize PJM's rules to better reflect today's diverse energy landscape, and ensure our grid is reliable and resilient as demand grows. PJM reforms could prevent unnecessary price hikes and save Pennsylvania consumers over $400 million. And if PJM commits to quickly clearing its backlog, electricity bills could fall by as much as 20%, which is real tangible savings for families. But all of these challenges is why our response must be an all-encompassing and all-of-the-above approach to energy generation. Governor Shapiro's Lightning Plan calls for Pennsylvania energy leaders to create and protect nearly 15,000 energy sector jobs, lower utility bills, and take real action to address carbon pollution. The 6-part plan, which is inspired by Ben Franklin, is supported by labor and industry leaders, environmental advocates, and consumer groups, which reflects Governor Shapiro's leadership in uniting diverse perspectives to move Pennsylvania forward. If enacted, these efforts are estimated to save hardworking Pennsylvanians $664 million in energy costs by 2040 and generate $11.4 billion of investment in clean energy. The plan will accomplish this and much more through 6 key pieces. First, the establishment of the Reliable Energy Siting and Electric Transition, or RESET Board, which is a much-needed tool to speed up energy project siting and permitting decisions, cut red tape, and ensure the next generation of all of the above energy projects are built here in Pennsylvania. The board would be a single interagency board to consider and approve siting for large, reliable energy generating facilities. Getting new energy projects on the grid is critical to lowering energy costs, enhancing grid reliability, and providing abundant energy to growing Pennsylvania energy. Currently, our state is one of only 12 states in the country that doesn't have an entity like this to make decisions on the siting of important energy projects. Second part of the plan is the Pennsylvania Economic Development for Growing Economy, or PA EDGE tax credit program, which was established in 2022, but it hasn't been used, which leaves billions of dollars in economic development potential on the table. The Lightning Plan calls for modifying the EDGE tax credit designed to attract new investments from businesses in critical manufacturing sectors, including semiconductors, biomedical, milk processing, and petrochemicals and fertilizers produced from natural gas. This would create a new per megawatt, all of the above tax credit for large investments in certain energy projects that generate reliable and primarily clean energy to ensure businesses can actually take advantage of the credit to create jobs, innovate, and grow our economy. Third, the Lightning Plan looks to lower energy costs for rural communities by introducing the concept of community energy. We know about community solar. This goes a step further and expands it to Pennsylvania farmers who are as resourceful as anyone. And using the concept of community energy under this proposal, a group of farmers who would like to invest in methane digesters could come together and get the energy to power their farms from the digester rather than from an electricity company, potentially lowering their energy prices. You can see this potential in our communities today. Governor Shapiro, alongside our Department of Agriculture Secretary Russell Redding, recently visited Penn England Farms in Blair County. Penn England Farms is a family-owned dairy operation that uses an on-site manure digester to convert waste into clean energy, which also reduces nearly 40,000 metric tons of pollution every year, while powering their farm and contributing their excess energy to the grid. Since building their digester in 2006, Penn England has saved $1.6 million in energy costs, nearly $90,000 every year. Under Governor Shapiro's plan, more farms would be able to access this technology through community energy proposal, allowing multiple farmers to share a digester, cut costs, and sell excess energy back to the grid. Fourth, the Lightning Plan proposes to update Act 129 energy efficiency programs that utilities offer. So Act 129 was one of our last energy bills that was passed, and it was passed in 2008. So we're talking nearly 20 years ago. But it would save more energy and keep costs down for consumers. And the governor's proposal will update these energy efficient standards for the first time in nearly 20 years. Through Act 129, the Commonwealth has saved over 8.8 million megawatt hours of electricity usage since 2009, which has resulted in $6.4 billion of savings to Pennsylvanians. So it's pretty successful. The proposed changes will build on these successes to enhance and modernize incentives to increase energy efficiency, because we all know that the cheapest form of energy is the electron that's not used. Fifth, Like Act 129, passed in the early 2000s, our alternative energy portfolio standard could use an overhaul and a modernization to build a more diverse, reliable, and affordable energy sector and incentivizes companies to innovate and build new forms of energy. AEPS, while it's still in effect, has ceased its ability to grow new energy resources and further diversify our energy assets. It's time that we modernize our standard and increase our portfolio to both reduce costs and reduce emissions while creating new jobs. And finally, the Lightning Plan calls for a new cap and invest initiative called PACER as an alternative to RGGI. This allows Pennsylvania to determine its own cap and carbon and invest directly in lowering consumers' electricity bills. Because under PACER, 70% of the revenue that is generated could be directed back to Pennsylvania residents as a rebate on their electric bills. So in conclusion, the Lightning Plan is comprehensive and it's ambitious. But I expect that everyone in this room believes that comprehensive and ambitious are what the Commonwealth's energy policy has been lacking for the last 20 years, and exactly what it's going to take to ensure Pennsylvania's energy future. So thank you all for having me. I hope you enjoy the rest of the session this morning. You have two wonderful panels to look forward to, and again, happy Earth Day.